Mage Transporters 96 here with another review. This time it is a Hot Toys Avengers Chitauri, both the Dattari Commander and Footsoldier review. So here you go. So of course here's the box. This is the exclusive version of the box where you've got a picture of both versions of the Dattari on it. And this does come with a few extra accessories from Sideshow.com. And yeah, so as you can see, the box is really nice. Follows the same format that all the other Avengers figures have, where you have like the picture of the figure in kind of like a color theme. This time it is a gray color theme with a kind of like almost like a spotted type of look. It almost looks like it's a kind of fuzzy type of look. Overall, very cool, looks very nice. Unfortunately, when I got my box, it had a lot of dents and scratches, like right up there on the foot soldier's head. As you can see, the entire box is dented, and it does have a dent that goes on the top of the actual box, and then on the back, as well as the corners of the box are all dented, and there is a small crease at the back bottom of it as well. So my box didn't arrive in the best condition, unfortunately, but the figures inside were in good condition for the most part. And yeah, so let's get them out of the box. So here they are out of package, but before we go into the figures, let's go over their accessories. Alright, so let's go over the hands that come with the Dattari Commander, and if you're wondering, can you kind of replace their hands and swap hands between the two figures? You can, obviously, but it just doesn't look quite right, considering they do actually have different tones of skin color, and therefore you can still, swap the hands. They wouldn't look as natural because they'd have a slightly different tint of skin color. But these, of course, are from the Commander. Just actually going over the sculpt of the hand so you can kind of see. Looks very nice. You get a very nice dark gray, almost like a really dark copper type of metal piece going on here. Is like the metal guard. You get the nice vibrant blue right there to kind of, because they kind of have like lights and little blue features and whatnot. It's a little too blue for me. I wish that they would have kind of like swirled in some like a white or something, just to make it a little bit more, Hot Toys standards. It's kind of just, the plain blue doesn't look that great for me. The actual skin color I will go over a lot more in detail when I actually go over the figures, but the hands are done very nicely, and of course they do have 3 main fingers and 2 thumbs, which is kind of interesting. The hands were something that was very interesting. I was very interested in seeing when I got these figures, because when you see a regular Hot Toys figures and the hands that they come with, you can tell what the hands are all for. With the Dattari, because of their very odd looks, you really can't. So I was very interested to see. You get 2 kind of relaxed palms. They can also be used as very open hands if the commander is giving some kind of an order. You can have them with these kind of pointed forward type of thing. So these kind of have slightly different uses. You get 2 kind of open hands. This one is a little bit more closed, and you can attempt to use like the long a gun that comes either with this exclusive set, or you can use the one that comes with the Black Widow figure. This one is from the Black Widow, and you can get them to hold it. This doesn't fit perfectly. As you can see, it slides right out, so you can't have the commander hold it really perfectly, but you can kind of makeshift have them hold it, so that is fairly decent. I am kind of stunned that they did not give you one of those guns, and that they didn't give you hands to hold them, because of with the exclusive set, which I do have, they did give you that gun, but it's kind of crazy that they would make that item an exclusive, because it should just come with these guys. But yeah, but as you can see, there's the hands he comes with. He's really lacking. I would have really liked a couple more, maybe like for the commander for sure, have him like one finger out like he's pointing, maybe like a couple fists. I mean, there's no fists. Possibly in the movie they never make a fist, but I just would find that hard to believe, and I would have really loved to see some more hands. I think that this was very lacking on Hot Toys' part, and there's really just not much you can do with them. As well as these hands are very large, and I'll go over this when I go over the figures, but the hands I feel like are just super big. They just look a little weird. Maybe that's accurate to the movie, but it just does look very strange to me. You do get 2 spare wrist pegs, which I have to say are nice to get, because they do have slightly different wrist pegs, as they are kind of much bigger than the average one. But the thing is, unfortunately, I've already needed to use one, because straight out of the package, without me messing with this figure at all, this is how one of the pegs that was on the Dattari, his right hand, this is how it was. It was completely mashed up and destroyed, and it's like, okay, that's exactly how it came fresh out of the box. So very kind of disappointed with that. Overall, really lacking on the amount of hands that you get. Definitely need some more, that's for sure. And then here's the hand that you'll get that are meant for the Footsoldier. This hand in the back holding the gun you will not get unless you get the exclusive set though, just so you know. So of course he comes with the same as the Dattari Commander. You get the two open hands, the two kind of closed hands used for like holding things. You have him hold like a brick, or for the Commander at least you can have him hold the grenade type of thing. And then with the exclusive set you do get, first of all, one of the long guns, which I think is really quite disappointing that it is an exclusive item. I see no reason that this shouldn't have been included as a regular release, and then you do get a hand for him to hold it. This exclusive hand has the skin color of the Footsoldier, so this exclusive hand is meant for the Footsoldier, which is better because he should be holding the gun, I guess. But I do think that it's absolutely ridiculous that he does not come with any more. That this isn't just a regular thing that you should get with all the figures. And I would have liked, they only gave you, what is this, his left hand. I would have liked a right hand so that he could hold it in both hands, but they didn't give you that. So again, very much lacking on accessories, and the exclusive accessories I find mind-blowing that they weren't in just a regular release accessory. Alright, so going over the weapons that you will get with the standard release of these figures, each one of them will come with one of these, the arm guns, that is just a repaint of what comes with the first Avenger, or not the first Avenger, but the Avengers Captain America. And then for the Commander, he will also come with a grenade. First of all, going over the grenade, looks very nice. Like I said with the hands, the blue is very bright blue. As you can see, it looks good, you know, it's got minimal detail, but it really seems to be accurate from the movie. I really couldn't have really asked for anything more. Maybe a little more scuffs to make it look a little bit more wore out, but overall it is fine, and it does fit, you know, very well. And he holds it fairly decently. In his left hand has a grasp that is a little looser, and his right hand has a grasp that's a little bit stronger, and I prefer to keep it in his right hand because of that. But overall he holds it alright, but there isn't like a hand that's like perfect, like it just completely wraps around it. I would have really liked that type of hand, but this one unfortunately does not come with it. With the arm kind of gun that you don't need to have them have any hands, just their wrist peg goes straight into here. What I don't like is that the metal the metal kind of guards on their wrist, they do seem to be kind of squished in here. I don't like that very much. Possibly they have clearance, but it just doesn't look like that when you actually are putting their hands into the guns. As you can see, painted really nicely. I really love the gold color. It's got a lot of kind of like a burnt spray on it, as well as all those little specks and everything. It has a pretty worn kind of a feeling. It's got a very dark, almost like it's got like some brown or very much like a dark burgundy kind of in here, and then it goes into more of like a sprayed on blue with some white in the center. It does look very nice. These two are exactly the same, and the one that you get with the Captain America figure is actually very different as far as color goes. First of all, the Captain America one is a much brighter gold. It looks not used as much, as well as it's got more spray painted kind of blue throughout it, and really, other than like the speck right here, it doesn't have much white in the center of the gun, as well as it has more paint chips all over it, or paint scratches. As you can see, that looks kind of nice. I wish that this would kind of follow with all that little paint scratches and whatnot, but I do like the way that this is painted. It's got a very much darker look, makes it look a little bit more villainy, and definitely fits in a bit more with the Chitauri. But overall, those are some nice weapons. I never really find those great. I don't think that they look really great on the figures, but it is nice that both of them come with you know, one of the blasters, because they are necessary accessories, so it is nice that they both come with them. So here are the accessories that come with the exclusive set. You know, this one I understand a bit more, but as far as like this one, I really do not understand why it is an exclusive. I think that just both of these items should come with at least just the Footsoldier, but they probably should have just came with both of them. So overall, it is disappointing that this was an exclusive item, but nonetheless it is. And as you can see, it is like the very long, very skinny Dattari weapon. As you can see, painted very well. It is incredibly similar to the Black Widow one, with some minor differences. So here's the Black Widow one, and as you can see, very much the same, but like the Captain America one, the Black Widow one does have some more kind of paint scratching, which this one really doesn't. You move it along, the Dattari one has some blue in this little circle, while this one just remains silver. Keep moving, and you get a little bit more of a dirty feeling kind of on the Dattari one. And then as you move it, the blade seems to be more silver with just the slightest amount of blue with the Black Widow one, while the Dattari one has more blue with that silver. Gives it, you know, kind of different look, but they are very similar. Like, it would be kind of hard to see which one is the Chitauri one and which one is the Black Widow one with these, unlike the arm cannon ones where you can totally tell that, which one is the Chitauri one and which one's the Captain America one, I have to say. And then you do get like a folded up weapon, so it's supposed to be the same exact one as this. It is very cool. I really do like this type of look. I find it not too easy to Sorry about that, guys, just ran out of space on my camera, but like I was saying, I do find it a bit hard to kind of get it into the back section, because it is just like a kind of like a clip that it's supposed to go on. It doesn't fit super well, I found. I mean, you can kind of like jam it in there, but you are scared of kind of, you know, scratching the paint on this, so I don't find it the easiest to get in, but overall it's not too bad. It does look very cool, but the thing is, it can't be in when they're on their base with the back stand, because there's not room to have both this in there as well as the clamp holding over the waist. So, you know, this accessory I was a little bit more excited for, and I was hoping that it would be a little bit cooler than it actually turned out to be. Overall, it is okay though. And just to give you one look, here's the accessories that you will get if you buy the exclusive one: a hand for holding this weapon, the weapon itself, and then a collapsed version of that weapon. All accessories that I find necessary in the Chitauri set, and am very surprised that they weren't just included in the Dattari set, especially since this is just a repaint of one that they've already done, so I do not understand why they did that. If you have Black Widow, then great, you can use you know, this with them. You just don't have a good hand for them to hold it, but you can kind of makeshift or make do with the hands that you get in having one of them actually hold the longer weapon. But overall, some, you know, nice, these are very nice accessories, just they shouldn't be exclusives in my mind. So here's the base / type of diorama accessories that come with each Dattari. So by each, I mean if you get one of these, you'll get all of this stuff. So if you get both, you will get double what you see here, which is quite nice, I have to say. Now the only thing that's not great is that the base itself is not changed at all between the two figures. When I first saw that, you know, on pictures and whatnot, I was kind of disappointed, thinking that they'd kind of look, you know, just weird because they'd have the same exact base, and when they're supposed to be like kind of just rubble all over the base. But actually, you really can't tell that they're the same base when they're standing on it. You really don't notice it, so it does look quite fine. So as you can see, it looks very cool. Got lots of nice detail. You got some kind of like a metal little thing going on there. You got a, you know, destroyed type of bricks. Very cool. It's got a really nice, really realistic looking texture all over it, and overall it's very nice. It is just on, you know, a little plastic base right here, and like you hear that clicking, just kind of gives it like a little bit of a cheap feel. When you push the bottom up of this, you hear that clicking, makes it just look kind of like plastic. So it's unfortunate, but not too bad. And it does come with a clear plastic rod, which goes up until you get to a clamp on the top, which of course you just put your Dattari in, and you can just lock it in place, and you can just screw that in tighter to make it stay on this pole so that it doesn't go up or down. Overall, very nice, and I do like that a lot. I would have liked just a couple of regular stands with these guys as well. I do not find it necessary with them because they are quite big though, I have to say, but like with the dynamic stands, I do love a regular accessory base. With this one, I would have liked it, but it is not necessary, so I am fine with what you get. You do get kind of just like a rock here, just some more, you know, texturing that you can kind of just put on the side of that. You get like a metal type of a street sign with like an arrow. It's very very kind of destroyed. It's got some like some rubble painting type of look on there, as well as this paint scratched off. Very cool. Really do like that accessory, and it does have a really neat type of feel to it. It's got, I don't know what you'd call this, but it doesn't feel like just an average plastic piece. It does make that type of metallic type of sound almost, so I do like that a lot. And you get like a brick, which I think is quite nice. You can actually, you know, pose them holding it like they're going to throw it or something. And overall, it is kind of cracked on one side. I think it looks pretty neat. And then you do get like a piece of a brick wall that's been destroyed. On the back, no texturing, or at least no detail on the back here. It's just on the front. This, I find, is great for for the Hulk. I think that he holds this super well, and I'll show you that later in this review. He holds it well, and it just looks really nice on with him. So these accessories I think are really cool, and these are the type of accessories that should have came with that Hulk figure, I think, because he really works well with these. So it is nice to get them. If you have Hulk, they work really good with Hulk, so that's very cool as well. But these are really nice accessories that really can improve your display, or just improve some of the pictures that you take, not only with these figures, but with the figures, any figures that you have, because these are very generic pieces that would work with just about any figure. So really do like them, and they are quite nice. Alright, so here we've just got them in a little stance just to kind of show off how they look holding their accessories. As you can see, I've kind of got, you know, kind of slightly recreated the scene where Captain America tries to save the hostages, where you've got the Chitauri commander with the grenade, you know, about to blow it up, and then you've got some other Chitauri there. But just really to show you how they hold their accessories. As you can see, he holds the grenade, you know, fairly decently. You can, you know, get it more in his hand, type of like that. He doesn't really hold it where he's like grasping his entire hand and like holding the box like this. He does kind of have to hold it where so he's like got it held out, type of like right there, which is unfortunate. I would have liked a hand that could really kind of grasp and hold all the fingers like around the bomb, kind of like how he holds it in the movie. So it is disappointing that he can't really do that. As you can see, the foot soldier in the back there, looking pretty nice, holding the larger arm cannon. Get some figures out of the way so I can bring him up. As you can see, he looks pretty decent holding that, and looks pretty nice. And this is of course the exclusive hand. I think it's more of a grasp, so it looks like he's actually holding it. As well as here's how the back panel kind of folded up smaller gun looks very nice. It is very hidden from the back. I mean, like directions like that you can see it, which look really nice, and from over there you can see it, but for the most part when you're looking dead on him you can't even see it in the slightest, unfortunately. As well as when you obviously have the clamp on for when he's on his base, he can't have this on because it conflicts with it, so he can't really be displayed like that. So overall, that's really how they hold all of their weapons and how it all looks. Overall, fairly decent. I do find that with the arm cannon, he doesn't have his hand in there super well. I feel like this could fall out very easily just by, you know, lifting it up just a slightest bit, it's going to fall out. But overall, it is quite nice, and it is cool that they come with the range of accessories that they do when you get the exclusive set. Obviously, without the exclusive set, I feel like they're very much lacking on weapons. Alright, before I go into the actual figures, just want to give you one last little pose here. As you can see, just, you know, a little fight scene between Captain America and the Dattari, with the foot soldier just type of holding off Captain America while the commander kind of makes his escape. As you can see, it looks pretty neat. I did this pose really so I could demonstrate one key thing here that I really wanted to point out, and this is just to show you that even with like small poses and with sitting as far back as I am from these guys, I can clearly see, and I might not pick up on the camera at the moment, but I can clearly see that with the foot soldier you can see the eye of the actual Dattari through it, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Just wanted to close it up. Maybe you can you guys can see it for yourself. There you go. You can see the alien eye in there, which is really fantastic, and just really shows you that even with, you know, far distances or just having them on their shelf, with the foot soldier at least, you can kind of see the eye there when the helmet is positioned right, and it does make for a very nice, very realistic, and very cool look. I have to say, I'm very impressed with that. As well as just so you can kind of see, you know, how his arm cannon, how you can have it pointed out and whatnot. It does look pretty neat. I never really liked those type of weapons from the movie, but the actual toy itself does demonstrate it quite nicely. So I have to say, very cool. Now, enough rambling. I'm sure this is going to be a very long review, but now let's go into the actual Dattari figures. So now let's go over the actual helmeted face sculpts. As you can see, with the Dattari Commander, really do love it. He's got a very nice, very strong type of like jaw area, which I really do like. And it's not like the Commander, it's not like the Foot Soldier where the gold part kind of goes down onto the chin area and the cheeks. This is all silver. It gives it a very much like a helmet with like a mouthpiece, which looks very cool. Really do like that. The design of it is quite grand and quite almost like a royal type of design, as well well as a very much a war type of a look to it. It does have a really nice gold that's very well painted and very well darkened and scratched up there. Looks used. He just looks rather very neat, and I really have to say I really do love it. Love the way that the back of the panels look, how they're kind of sharp at the bottom and on the top. Of course, with the Commander, he does the lip on the back of the head there is much higher and is sharper than the actual Footsoldier, which is nice. And I do like the way that the helmet, it's kind of got a line here that goes over the eye mask, giving his eyes a smaller, skinnier type of look. Makes him look a little bit more menacing, and I have to say I really do like that. The way that his helmet goes on is it's actually these little lip pieces are connected to this back sharp type of panel on both sides. So when you remove that, the face sculpt is attached to the helmeted area, and that pops off as well. I haven't decided yet, but I will be removing one of the helmets to show you the actual alien face sculpt. But overall, it does look really nice. I don't know what you'd call this, the kind of cage look that goes down there, which I think is a wonderful touch on the movie designing aspect. I think it looks really neat, and it does look very cool. The only thing is, with him, it's got like a red look to it with like a purple on the inside, which does look very nice. On the Commanders, though, it is a different color, but overall, he looks quite nice. Really do like his helmeted face sculpt. We go over the Footsoldier, and the Footsoldier is the one that I really expected not to like as much, and I was very pleasantly pleased by the Footsoldier. Just wanted to give you a little lower look for him because he's slightly shorter, or at least the way I have him standing, he's slightly shorter. So yeah, so as you can see, his helmet sculpt is not quite so grand. It looks a little bit more utilitarian and not so much for show with the whole spikes on the Commander. This one, it's more just for use type of thing. As you can see, his eye holes are much bigger, which on this I really love because it allows you to really get a good look at the eyes from the actual alien inside. I did show you that on the when I did that pose with Captain America, but as you can see, it just looks super cool like that. And there's more just kind of broken up spaces, like in the metal section right here, that you can actually see through, so you can see a little bit more of the actual flesh of the alien, which I think is very cool and very nice. And like I said with the Commander, it's painted super well. The one thing is too with this guy, he does have some blue in his costume, which the Commander does not. That little blue spot up there looks a little strange, but yeah. He's got more blue in his costume, in his helmet at least too, which is cool, as well as the cage things that run down. They do look very nice, and I do like their colors more on this guy. They don't have as much purple, and I think it is kind of neat that the Commander has some purple in his costume and helmet and whatnot, because it's a very royal color, and it makes the Commander look a little bit more important as opposed to this Footsoldier that just has blue. He's just character that can be, just killed and whatnot. He's just a warrior. So, as you can see, I really do love the helmeted sculpts on both of these figures. They're very well done and very cool. I thought that I was going to keep one of them with the alien face, but I enjoy the helmet so much that I keep the helmets on because they just look so cool. So now let's take the helmet off of one of these guys and actually show you the alien underneath. So here's the actual Dattari alien face sculpt. As you can see, it looks very cool. He does have a very small head. His proportions are very strange, and it's one thing I don't like about not having the helmet on, is that it makes his head look very tiny, and it is very strange looking because he's got a very tiny head, a massive chest, some big arms, some massive hands, and then the legs are kind of in a nice proportion, but the small head does give it an odd look. This is the same sculpt that is used with the Commander. Unfortunately, I was actually hoping that it would be slightly different, but unfortunately it is not. As you can see, it does look very cool. I don't know what it is. It gives, when I look at them, I get a kind of like a very alien, evil goat type of look. I don't know why I think of a goat when I look at them, but that's just what I think of. Overall, though, giving you some more light here, I think it looks beautiful, really well sculpted and whatnot. Really do like it. I really wish that they sculpted it with an expression of screaming, considering the only time that we see the actual alien is when he rips off his face sculpt and he just screams at the Avengers. So that would have been so cool to actually see. One thing that's really nice that's only with the foot soldier, you can't do this with the commander just because of the way that the commander's face sculpt goes on, or his helmet goes on, I mean, but you can just put the back section of the helmet and put it on like that, and that overall looks really cool. How accurate is it? Not super accurate, considering this little medallion right here, it shouldn't be there. When you actually look at the scene where the Chitauri rips off his face sculpt, or his mask piece, that little medallion piece goes with the mask piece when he rips it off, so it actually isn't on him when he's actually wearing it. But I think that if you are going to display the alien, I would definitely recommend putting the helmet on, because it looks a little bit more like the other, you know, the commander with his helmet on. It gives them a nice look together, and as you can see, they look really cool. And it is, of course, very tempting to leave them like that, because it is just a really quite amazing sculpt that they use. So I really do like that. The commander is a bit harder to take off and put on his helmet, I have to say, while the foot soldier is a little bit easier. They're both not a picnic to do, but you can do both of them, and it can work out good. But overall, wish that they were a little easier to remove and put on, but the face sculpts do look very nice. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the actual sculpts of the figures now, and I will be doing them together because they are very similar, although neither of them is exactly the same in almost any area, which is kind of neat. So as you can see, their armor is very similar, but definitely different, considering the commander has a little bit more armor, because he's, you know, a little bit more important, as well as his colors in his armor are a little bit more rich and more royal as far as compared to the foot soldier, in my opinion, I think. So with the commander, he does of course have the shoulder piece, which looks really good, does have some nice detail on it, although not that much. It's very much just like a very dark gray with some of the edges kind of shaved off to have a little bit of a silver appearance, like up here, with a couple silver scratches. It's not major battle damage, but there is a little bit of battle damage on there. It gives it a little character and looks a little nice, and I do like the way that his armor is sculpted. I have to say, I really do like his armor, the way it's sculpted and how it looks. You get less skin, which I think is nice, and more armor bits, which I think looks very cool. As far as what's the same on these guys, because there are some things that are the same. First of all, the left shoulder seems to be exactly the same, and the bicep is exactly the same as far as paneling, and the armor and the skin looks identical. And then the arms are not the same, but they're very similar. It just looks like the commander has one extra panel right here, and then of course the hands are the same, and then their left legs are exactly the same, and their right legs, this seems to be exactly the same as well. They just put on one more panel right here. And then when you go down to the arms on this side, same thing as on the other side. You do have the paneling that's not here, that is here on the commander, and then their shoulders do have different arm pieces. I'm not quite sure what's 100% sculpted on and what's just kind of glued on. I have a feeling that they're both kind of like the Dattari they're both the Dattari foot soldier, but the commander has a few more armor pieces that have just been glued on. But I do also think that there's some extra pieces that are actually fully sculpted on. I have to say, this does look sculpted on. I'm not 100% sure, but the extra paneling up here does seem to be more sculpted on than actually glued on. So I have a feeling that that's the case. They're kind of I don't know what you call these, kind of crotch guards there, or you know, the kind of like skirt extra hanes. They do look very cool. They are completely different, of course. The foot soldier is much smaller and sticks with the blue paint with some copper, while the commander, of course, sticks with the purple paint with some gold. And overall, it does look very nice. Really do like it. The only cloth bits on either of these are of course, the very smooth, like a silk, cloth for their upper legs. You know, overall, it does look very nice. I wish you could straighten them out a bit more, but they really can't be straightened down, unfortunately. Not a big deal, but something to mention. When we go into the skin tones, with the lights being kind of bright, it does kind of make their skin tones look a little bit more similar than they are. The commander is definitely much creamy, kind of like a creamy white, and very pale for the most part. It does have some nice detailing with some like green or very dark gray type of paint in it, while the foot soldier is much much more defined, I would say. It's got a really dark red in some places with some dark yellow, and then like a dark gray or a light gray, I guess, all mixed into one. It does have a cooler look in my opinion. You can definitely tell when it goes down to the feet. Their feet are completely different shades, and I do think that it looks kind of neat. Now, why do they have different skin colors? I don't know. Either it was the movie company who wanted to make the commanders a little bit, they wanted to make them stand out a bit, so they did that. Maybe they just didn't want to make them so they looked exactly like clones. They wanted to give them some personality, so they made different tones of skin colors. Possibly it was Hot Toys that took a little bit of license on their own to give you a different look and to make you want each one to make you want both of them a little bit more, because you do look at them and they do look slightly different because of their skin tones. Or it was just the fact that the foot soldier is, you know, on the ground, he's fighting, you know, so he's a little bit dirtier. I am not quite sure. I mean, with the feet, the foot soldier's feet are really quite dirty looking, so I have a feeling it might be just because it's a foot soldier and he's getting more dirt on him that he does have a different skin tone, and it's kind of like dirtied up his appearance. So that's possibly the case. Overall, though, really do like the actual sculpting. And I did just realize here that when I was talking about the legs, you really couldn't see them, but as you can see, same exact leg up here, same exact leg over here, but just this little piece was glued on, it looks like, so that seems to be the case. And then of course with the feet, like I've been saying, this very dark feet compared to the very light feet, and definitely, most likely, I'm assuming is because he's been, you know, fighting on the ground, getting a little bit more dirty. But overall, the actual sculpts of these guys are really cool. Another thing that I'm sure you guys are going to want to know is articulation. So while I'm just talking, let's go over the articulation. Articulation on both of them is exactly the same. Just double checking. Yes, it is exactly the same. So I'm just going to take the foot soldier out at the moment and just focus on the commander. So his articulation, he does have a ball jointed neck. Overall, it can go down, can go up, it can go side to side, and it is connected to these like cages, so when you do move them, they do kind of take the cages with them, and therefore it does hinder articulation. I would have really liked these to just be able to like unpeg, so you can just unpeg him, move his head all around, get him in a really nice position, whatnot, and then when you put his head back straight, then you can just peg him back in. That would have been a nice, easy, you know, fairly easy fix to that hindrance of the head. I will say that the foot soldier, his head articulation is exactly the same, but it just moves a lot better. Just let me take this off. As you can see, he just looks side to side a lot better. I don't know what it is, if it's just mine, or maybe the foot soldier is just sculpted a little bit nicer, where he does seem to have less of a hindrance on his neck articulation compared to the commander. With the commander, with these shoulders, they are on ball joints, but they were on like a ball pin, so you can like raise the joint up, you can raise it down, or lower it down at least, and that does help with the articulation. So when you raise it up, you know, you can you know, actually like move the joint that's inside of the arm bit, kind of like how the Iron Man joint works, where you can actually like move the pin that's in that joint. Maybe you can see it. Get some good light on it, maybe. Yeah, you can kind of see that there's like there's a double ball joint in there. One ball joint that's connected to the body on a pin, and then on the other side of the pin is another ball joint that's connected to the shoulder. So it gives you some really nice range of movement. Really do like that. It does warn you with the foot soldier, with this little piece that sticks out, it warns you not to get this caught under his skin though. So I would cautious with that. I'd be cautious with that. When you pose him, you want that little panel to be on top of his skin and not under it. So yeah, just be careful with that. With the foot soldier, or sorry, with the commander, that's not a problem though, because he doesn't have the spike up there. On this side, he does his panel is on a hinge, which is nice, and the same shoulder joint over here. On the elbows, it is a hinge swivel. As you can see, works pretty nicely. I would have liked double hinge, but the hinge swivel does work aesthetically a bit nicer, so I am pretty happy with that. They do have ball jointed or ball hinge wrists, of course, like very standard, but these do seem to work a bit more, work better, sorry, than the average Hot Toys figure. I think it's just because they're big and there's just more rotation area to be able to move it, so that is nice. They do have swivels at the waist. The foot soldier one doesn't work as good for me. I feel like the commander one swivels a bit nicer, which is good. With all the armor and the paneling, I feel like it would have been really easy to hide some more joints in that waist and give you more of a a nicer waist articulated area. Unfortunately, we just get a slight swivel, which is hindered fairly a lot. So that is a shame, but definitely nothing too terrible. As far as the thigh joints, they are on ratchets, and as you can hear them, they do ratchet up. They are on double hinge knees, which is really nice. And then you do have a hinge pivoting and swivel ankle. Overall, the ankle joint is really nice, really comes in handy. As you can hear, that ratcheting joint there. As far as articulation, it is really quite good. As I've said, it is a bit hindered in the neck because of that caged area. I think that they could have added more articulation in the waist or in the upper part of the body. And then I do feel like it's completely lacking something that's very essential, and that is a thigh swivel. I really think that there should have been a thigh swivel because you really can't angle the legs in or not. I cannot talk. They can't be twisted. You can't twist the legs, which I think is necessary with just about all figures, and that's something that they could have easily put in. A simple swivel that's covered with the cloth, I mean, there shouldn't have been a problem with that, but they did not add that in, unfortunately, and it is a shame because it would have been, easy to do, but they didn't. But overall, both figures are quite nice as far as articulated wise. You can do a lot of fun stuff with them. They are hindered like any other figure, but what's nice is they're only hindered by as far as the joints will go. They're not hindered because of clothing. When you move like their arm, you don't want to, you don't have to worry about putting it in a stressful position because you're stressing the actual cloth. There's no worries like that, which is nice, and you don't have to worry about damaging a costume with these guys because essentially they're just completely sculpted toys, which is nice. Alright guys, I wanted to give you an idea of how a Chitauri would look on the Chitauri base that came with either the Battle Damage Mark 7 or the exclusive Bruce Banner and Hulk set. They both came with the same base, and that's just a really nice kind of diorama element base with a dead Chitauri on it. So here's a Chitauri on that base, and I did throw a bunch of the stuff from the Chitauri set, like the brick and the I just put everything that a Chitauri the element sets that came with the actual base from the Dattari. I put them on the set as well. As you can see, it looks really cool. I really do love it, and I think it looks awesome. The only thing that I don't like about it is the fact that there is no crotch piece, there's no cradle, there's nothing to hold him on this base other than just have him standing. Now, their ankle articulation is so good that they can stand on this and stand on it fine actually, but it does always worry me. I always want my figures to have some sort of support, whether it's a cradle or a crotch piece or just anything like that, which this does not have, and it does worry me. So as cool as this looks, it doesn't really fit that well, unfortunately. But just to give you a bit of a zoom in so you can see how it looks, really quite awesome. Just moving it up to this awesome Dattari. As you can see, I'm holding up the weapon as well. Super cool. Just looks absolutely sick. Too bad there wasn't a proper way to display this as. Now, what should have happened, in my opinion, is the exclusive items that came with this 2-pack should have came with the original sets, and then the exclusive item that should have come with buying these together on Sideshow.com should have been this base. As even though I already have the base, I think just for other collectors, this base is needed because of the cool display that you can use with the Dattari on it. It just looks so nice. So overall, a bit disappointing, but super cool looking. So here's a bit of a size comparison. As you can see, I do have the Dattari with Captain America and Hulk. Obviously, none of them are on a base except for the Dattari in the back there. He is obviously still on that cool base. I think it looks awesome on that. I might try to display him like that. But yeah, so there they are, and they're much bigger than the average figure. The average figure, of course, being Captain America, and that Captain America is fairly tall. He is actually a fairly tall Hot Toys figure, so you can see they do present a lot of height to them, which looks very nice. I think their cost is $250, or like it's actually $240 each, which I think is pretty decent considering that's just under Iron Man prices, and they are completely sculpted figures like Iron Man. They come with a fairly decent amount of accessories, and they are very bulky. So I think that their price for their characters being just the foot soldiers of the movie, it's kind of high price. But when you actually look at them as figures, they do come with a decent amount. So I do think that their price is pretty fair, at least. I wouldn't say it's good, wouldn't say it's bad. I think it's fair though. So as you can see, that's how it is. Like I said, I would be showing you Hulk with the like brick piece. I think he looks awesome holding that. He holds it really well. He looks really natural holding it as well, and it just looks perfect on him. I've taken a picture of him holding up that brick piece like he's about to smash in the commander's head with it. So overall, it looks very cool, and I really do like that with Hulk. And yeah, so overall, their size is fairly accurate. I think from the movie, it looked like they were a decent amount taller than the actual Avengers, and they seem to be in these toy form too. So overall size seems perfect to me. So really quick, thought I'd give you an extra little pose look. As you can see, we've got the Hulk fighting the Commander, with the Commander climbing on his back, about to, you know, drop a grenade on him, but Hulk's, you know, bringing up the brick to just smash his face. And then you've got the Chitauri down here, you know, just pointing a gun at Captain America, who's just jumped up and is about to block the bullet with his shield and then just come punching the Chitauri or something. As you can see, very cool. That base that the Chitauri come with is very nice. Like you can see, it really holds the other figures really well and gives them a really cool look. So I do really like that base, not just for the Chitauri, but for your Avengers figures or just any figure that you happen to have, because it would work really cool. You know, I would have loved a Malekith from Thor 2, so if they ever make him, which they won't, but if they do, that would be a great base for Malekith, I have to say. But overall, works really nice with the Avenger figures, and just thought I'd give you a little pose. So overall, these Hot Toys Chitauri figures are pretty good. They come with some decent amount of stuff. I think that the exclusive items, like I've said a million times, should have been standard items with these characters. Unfortunately, they're not. I really am impressed with their bases and the kind of element pieces that come with their bases. They're very fun. You can do a lot of cool stuff with them. Their articulation is quite good. You know, not the best, but definitely not lacking. And I have to say, is definitely on par with Hot Toys with their articulation. That's very cool. Paintwork on them is pretty good. Definitely on the Footsoldier. The Commander is the paint is not that great. It's a little bit more Hasbro to me. I feel like the biggest problem with these figures are some people that get them are going to kind of treat them like a Hasbro product, as far as because they are just completely sculpted and they're really not you know, tailored amazingly, because there really isn't anything to tailor or anything like that. And I have a feeling some people are not going to think that these guys are on Hot Toys par. I do think that they're sculpted and detailed onto Hot Toys' level of detail and sculpting that we're used to from them now. So I think that that's very nice. I think that they could have been. Very sorry about that, I had to take a phone call. But anyway, like I'm saying, these are pretty good figures, sculpted fairly nicely. This is not Hot Toys' usual type of figure, I have to say. I think it is really quite impressive that they did make them. I would have never expected in a million years that the Chitauri would have got the Hot Toys treatment over some of the figures that they haven't made that I would have really expected them to make. So I think that just this Avengers toy line has just been a gold mine for them, and they're just trying to get as much as they can out of it, which is a great sign when it comes to Avengers 2, because of course I think that they're gonna go, you know, hey, we made, you know, a lot of money and a lot of figures from the first movie, let's do it again. So we're gonna get a lot of figures from the second movie, I have a feeling about. Overall, some really nice figures. Would I recommend them to people? You have to be one of these type of people. Either you have to just absolutely love the Avengers and then just want these figures to enhance your Avengers collection, as far as, you know, just have your Avenger figures just really pose, you know, just kicking the crap out of these guys to make the Avengers look a little cooler. And I think that these would be nice tools to make the Avengers look awesome, which is basically what they are in the movie, because they're basically just there to give the Avengers some awesome visuals to just beat up and stuff like that. You have to just be a massive Chitauri fan. I can't imagine there's too many people who are just like, I love the Chitauri, you know, they're alright, but I just don't think many people really love them. But if you are one of the people that loves them, then obviously this is definitely going to be a set for you. If you are, and this is the category that I definitely fit into, a major a Marvel or just comic book or just villain fan in general, I love villains. There is going to be hardly a single Hot Toys villain that comes out that I don't pick up, just because I'm just all over villains. So that's why I pick these guys up. Or you just have to just be like a Hot Toys completist to get these. If you do not fit one of those categories, there is really not a need for these guys, because they're very much side characters. I definitely can imagine a lot of people passing up on these figures figures. They're not the best thing in the world for sure. They're definitely very cool though. I'm extremely glad that I picked them up, but I am not stoked about them, I have to say. I was super excited when they went on pre-order, and just getting them, they're not as cool as I was kind of expecting and hoping, but they are very nice indeed. So definitely, it's not a put down on the figures. They were a little underwhelming when I was really expecting them and hoping for them to be overwhelming when they're really not. But overall, some nice figures. I would say you have to fit one of those like 3 categories to really kind of I cannot speak. You should kind of fit one of those categories to definitely get these guys, because if you really don't, there's really not a point to get them, and there's a lot of other figures that you can get. With figures being this, with Hot Toys being this price range, you should pick and choose a bit at least with what figures you're gonna get. So unless you fit one of those categories, I would definitely not recommend these figures. But if you do fit one of those categories, then more power to you, and go ahead and pick them up, because I did, and I'm pretty happy. I like them. They're fun. So yeah, so there you go. So that's my review of the Hot Toys Chitauri Foot Soldier as well as Commander. Thank you so much for watching.